Thank you for making time for NTV Weekend Edition. This is what you can expect. Tonight, the swoop continues. Police arrest more suspects behind the 14 Riverside Drive attack. Also,
so I used to tell him, why can't you come back to home? It's safer, at least we don't want to lose you. So no one actually thought about we will lose Abdallah one day in his home country.
Two families grappling with loss and a heartful question.
Sometimes you become a victim, then also you become a suspect.
Also tonight,
we stand together as Kenyans to deal with these people.
Handshake, not just political.
Tuwaweza kufaulu kwa hata yale magumu tukiwa pamoja.
Plus,
every 30 minutes we are offering them updates on just keeping them calm first.
How WhatsApp, Twitter and Facebook came to rescue of Kenyans holed at Dusit complex.
NTV Weekend Edition with Gladys Gachanja.
Thank you for joining us. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Flora Atino. Now, 4 more people have been arrested in Kitui in connection to the attack at Dusit complex on Tuesday that left 21 people dead. Police say the 3 foreigners were taken into custody during a raid at a Kitui hotel and are being questioned over the events of the Tuesday afternoon. Now, according to Kitui Police County Commander Anthony Kamitu, the 4 could not give a proper account of themselves and did not have identification documents except one with British passports as suspected to be forged. Now, the suspects are awaiting further interrogation by the multi-agency team, and in Hagadera, Garissa Northeastern Regional Commander Paul Soy says 3 suspects were arrested in the morning at Hamei near the border with Somalia. The 3 were in possession of firearms at the time of arrest and were crossing into Kenya. The taxi driver transporting them says he was paid a refugee living in Hagadera by a refugee living in Hagadera refugee camp. Those arrested led police to a 3rd individual.
And 13 rounds of ammunition. Now I'm making the total number of firearms to be 3 pistols and 36 rounds of ammunition. I have to take this opportunity to thank the members of the public for the very valuable information they gave it to security officers who acted swiftly and arrested these suspects.
Staying on the same, the anti-terrorism police unit have arrested the father of Mahir Khalid Riziki, who is believed to have been the suicide bomber in the 14 Riverside terror attack on Tuesday. The arrest came barely 3 hours after Suhaila Mwalim Bakari was picked up in Bakarani area Kisauni, also in relation to her husband's activities.
Prior to images of a man fumbling with something seconds before he blew himself up, nothing much was in the public domain about 25-year-old Mahir Khalid Riziki, but to those who saw him grow up in Mombasa's Majengo area, the young man was a disciplined and pious man up until October 2014, when police placed a bounty on his head alongside 5 other young men. Together with Ismail Muhammad Shosi, alias Ismail Manga, Mahir is said to have executed a police officer at a hotel in the coastal city, and while Shosi was killed by security officers in September of 2016, Mahir disappeared almost immediately. The police set out to get him in 2014. In late 2014, Mahir fled into neighboring Tanzania, where he stayed until 2015, when intelligence reports of his movement into Somalia first surfaced. Police believe he was in contact with his family and shared with close confidence that he was undergoing training from Al-Shabaab militants. Though many knew him as a polite young man whose strict religious practice was envied by many, police believe that the young man who drove a tuk-tuk in the city began his journey into uncharted waters at the hands of Ramadan Hamisi Kufungwa, a recruiter who was posing as an Islamic teacher at the then controversial Masjid Musa Mosque in Majengo area. In the months of November and December of 2018, Mahir is believed to have gotten into contact with his wife Suhaila Molim Bakari back in Mombasa. The conversations leading investigators to her home. Those privy to the details say Suhaila was picked up for questioning around that time but was released. She has been picked up again at a house in Bakrani area, Mombasa, with her father-in-law, who runs a shop in Mombasa's CBD, being also taken into the Makupa police station for questioning. Husband sneaked back into Kenyan territory via Elwak in Mandera, taking a road trip via Takaba and travelling across the Kenyan north into Marsabit County before taking a bus into Nairobi. On arriving in the capital city, he met up with Ali Salim Gishunge at his residence in Gwango Estate, Mushadha, where detectives believe could have been the nerve centre of plans to execute an attack earlier this week. Intelligence briefs show that after getting his instructions, Mahir was first on the scene and took his position outside the Secret Garden restaurant, blowing himself up to set the ball rolling for his fellow terrorists to launch the attack. Investigations are ongoing.
We can now confirm that this criminal activity commenced at about 3 o'clock,
with police shifting their focus on the Kenyan coast and Upper Eastern. Leila Mohammed, NTV.
Well, there has been a lot of speculation on whether Ali Salim Gishunge alias Farouk was felled by police at the Dusit complex. NTV can confirm that the suspect is indeed alive and in police custody. Farouk, who owned the car used to ferry the attackers and the house in Mushadha, Kiambu County, was arrested on Thursday, 2 days after the attack. NTV's Mel Miendo peeps into the ongoing investigation.
Ali Salim Gishunge, alias Farouk, is a man thought to have been killed in the Tuesday afternoon attack at the Dusit D2 complex. Farouk, seen here on this CCTV screen grab, is in undisclosed police custody and was arrested on 17th January 2019, contrary to earlier reports. Of interest to police was the car used to ferry the attackers to 14 Riverside Drive. The car, a Toyota Ractis KCN 340E, was traced back to Farouk as its owner, with Gwango Estate residents confirming the same. Detectives are sifting through CCTV footage of the car's movements in the past 2 weeks from the day of attack. They're keen on the frequent places visited and people in contact with occupants of the car. Farouk lived in Gwango Estate House E09 Mushadha. In this exclusive CCTV footage obtained by NTV, Farouk is seen entering his Gwango house with an unknown woman. Residents say the two were commonly seen together and describe the woman as light-skinned in complexion. Her whereabouts are unknown. However, another woman, Violet Kemunto, is said to have lived with Farouk as his wife and publicly identified herself as an Al-Shabaab bride. Kemunto is in police custody. Farouk, who hails from Isiolo town but has roots in Meru, is said to have cut links with his family. His mother, Sakina Mariam, and his father, Abdallah Salim, a sergeant with the Kenya Defence Forces, have already been summoned by the DCI in Nairobi.
Watu walisikia maneno ya Gichunga alikuwa anasoma hapa nini. Wengi sana walianza kufikiria watoto wao wamekaa sana bila kuwaona. Na wamesema tajaribu kuwapigia simu kama simpati kwa sababu kuna watoto wamekaa sana bila kukaa nyumbani na wajua alienda namna gani. Sasa tumewaadvise hata wapige ripoti kwa polisi. Ndio polisi wajue watoto wamekaa sana bila kuwaona.
Mel Miendo, NTV.
Friends and colleagues of the 6 senior employees of tech firm Cellulant continue to mourn their demise in Tuesday's terror attack at the Dusit D2 complex. Cellulant, which is one of the companies with offices in the complex, confirmed that it lost 6 of its employees. Those who perished were Cellulant's head of product development, Ashford Courier, hub engineer Kelvin Gitonga, head of information security Dennis Mwaniki, quality assurance tester John Derito, implementation engineer Wilfred Karethi, and head of hub Jeremiah Mbaria. The Dusit D2 has also planned a memorial service for the departed next week, and the Dusit Hotel lost 6 members of staff. They are Dendrix, that is Lemisi, Trufosa Nyaboke, Bernadette Konjalo, Zachary Nyabuanga, Beatrice Mutua, and Erickson Mugaka Momanyi. May they rest in peace. In the aftermath of the 14 Riverside Drive attack, accolades have been given to the brave security officers for their bravery and organizational skills that saved hundreds of lives. However, these officers could not have carried out the rescue operation without a little help from the digital world. NTV's Brenda Wanga reports on how the power of the digital and social media was harnessed to make a difference in the rescue operations.
Even before images of smoke rising from 14 Riverside Drive in the immediate aftermath of the terror attack were available, news that something was amiss had begun spreading like bushfire on social media. But social media would have a much bigger role to play in the ensuing hours during the siege. For those trapped in the building under attack, their cries for help were transmitted digitally. But as the volume of such messages coming from the building increased, there was need to handle them centrally.
So me and Boniface Nyaga, we decided, okay, why don't we form a WhatsApp group? Because it will be easier now to coordinate as opposed to making individual text, individual calls. So we actually added everyone who was actually trapped in the Grosvenor building.
Those administering the WhatsApp group, however, had to be vigilant to ensure that the group was not infiltrated by the very enemies the victims of the attack were hiding from.
It was easy to get the numbers of the guys trapped, because now we are like, okay, able to do a head count. Yes, we are 90, we are 30.
That group became a lifeline for the victims, the only way they could get accurate information and hope while in hiding.
We actually offered, every 30 minutes, we are offering them updates on just keeping them calm first, to ensure their safety, giving them safety tips on keeping their head low, to make sure they find a place to hide, to conserve their battery, and to ensure that they're not in danger. Because at times we are not cognizant to the fact that calling a trapped person may actually expose their location.
Apart from those holed up in the building, the group and indeed other social media platforms like Twitter and Facebook also helped link the security officers on location to those inside.
We had the Red Cross team, we had the police, and they were actually giving updates on the WhatsApp group, telling them, yes, we are coming for you, we are now on the first floor. The gunshots you're hearing, it's us. The blasts you're hearing, it's us who are actually making advancements. So just stay low.
The WhatsApp group had close to 130 victims who had been locked up in Grosvenor building. Almost all of them made it out alive. A few did not. Beyond the rescue, social media also played a big role in mobilizing people to donate blood for the injured and food for the security officers and volunteers on location.
Social media is a great tool because it gives the response team the situation analysis on the ground. It was easy to actually know how many guys on the ground, on which floor, where were they hiding. And I remember that WhatsApp group played a critical role where some were saying, but there's one of us in the ceiling, there's one of us in the bathroom, there's one of us on the floor. And we actually sent the same message to the rescue squad team.
Those who operate in the digital space now want the government to incorporate the use of digital media in an organized way in disaster responses.
So you can imagine now if that number was of the terrorists, and we are busy sending that. So I think it's a country we need to have like a digital command system where in such a scenario, people can actually be sending information there for verification with the police, and it's easier that way to contain information.
This, they say, will not only maximize the power of the platforms, but also guard against the misuse of the same during such sensitive times. Brenda Wanga, NTV.
With that attack on 14 Riverside Drive, two friends, Faisal Ahmed and Abdallah Dahir, spent most of their time together. They were also so close that even in death, they were together. The two were among 21 people killed in the 14 Riverside Drive terror attack, and families of the two best friends are still mourning the death of the loved ones who died while having lunch. Eunice Omolo spoke to the two bereaved families still grappling and a perception they still cannot shake off.
Family and friends have been visiting the home of Abdallah Dahir to condole with the family since Tuesday. Abdallah and his best friend Faisal Mohammed died during the terror attack at Dusit complex. Abdallah had been working in Somalia for 7 years before he relocated to Nairobi.
No one actually thought about we will lose Abdallah one day in his home country with the same fear that we had that we lose him through explosion.
Abdallah and Faisal, who are best of friends, died while having lunch at Secret Garden at the Dusit complex. They were the first victims as the blast from the suicide bomber right outside the restaurant got the attack in motion. They both worked for Adam Smith International. Abdallah's sister Rukia Mohammed was the first family member to arrive at the scene.
On that fateful day, I spoke with my brother around 9:40 a.m. and I was waiting email from him, and he wanted feedback from me. And I remember my other brother Abdul Qafari called me and he was like, Rukia, Abdullah's office is under attack. I texted him. At first I was like, Abdullah, are you okay? He was not responding. I was like, I'm scared. Are you okay? Please tell me if you're okay. Are you hiding? I won't call you. He never said anything.
Abdallah was the second-born child in a family of 21 children. His family describes Abdallah as the fiber that held them together.
Time heals, but it will take time for us to come back to our normal life. Yeah, although we don't feel like, because even when we lost our father, or back in our mind we were saying we have Abdallah, who stood with us.
Faisal Ahmed was also a second child. He wed last year, and a young widow will have to raise the unborn child alone.
It was very shocking for me to lose Faisal. And probably, I don't know, because I don't know what the future holds for the farm, for his wife. But she is also very shocked, even she could not sleep for the last 3 nights.
In the darkest hour of mourning, the two families say they also have to battle negative perception that brands them the enemy.
Sometimes you become a victim, then also you become a suspect. I think that's what happened when we are trying to get the body. Because in our faith, I think Muslim faith, they have exempted from to do postmortem. But even they have taken a DNA. So I think there's something, they want some clues probably. I don't know, that's my feeling, but they think that also they were part of the problem. I don't know.
When you hear about the word Al-Shabaab, the first thing comes into your mind is Muslim, you know? And the guys, the two friends we lost, they are Muslims. They share the same religion.
These people are not Muslims. They have no religion. They are not Muslims. They are not Christians.
Faisal and Abdallah spent most of their adulthood life together all the way to their death. They were buried on Wednesday at the Langata Cemetery.
Those guys who killed them, may Allah take them to the hellfire, and they will be answerable. They will be accountable the day of judgment. 16
Kenyans died during the terror attack at the Dusit complex. Eunice Omolo, NTV, Nairobi.
We continue to pray for peace and comfort for all that lost their loved ones in that attack. Elsewhere, opposition leader Raila Odinga has maintained that Kenya will not relent in its fight against terrorism. At the same time, President Uhuru Kenyatta has urged Kenyans to focus on issues that will uplift their lives instead of engaging in divisive politics. The two leaders spoke during the burial of former Youth Enterprise Fund Chairman Bruce Odhiambo in Muhoroni in Kisumu County.
President Uhuru Kenyatta and opposition leader Raila Odinga were among hundreds of mourners who attended the burial in Koru, Muhoroni in Kisumu County. It is here that President Kenyatta and ODM party leader Raila Odinga urged Kenyans to unite against terrorism.
People mourning today who lost their loved ones, that because of people who are here, who are attacking us for no other reason. And we have said that we will stand together as Kenyans to deal with these people.
Waweza kufaulu kwa hata yale magumu tukiwa pamoja. Na hiyo ndio lengo langu na ndugu yangu mkubwa hapa Raila Amolo Odinga.
The leaders urged Kenyans to shun divisive politics and instead embrace one another for the country to realize social and economic development.
Kuja kwetu pamoja sio siasa. Kuja kwetu pamoja ni kutatua shida ambazo za kumba wa Kenya.
Ya ukabila. Hatutaki ufisadi. Hatutaki kuona ile ukosefu ya kazi kwa vijana.
The two leaders eulogized the deceased as great Kenyan who went out of his way to promote the youth and local music.
Our family knows Bruce for providing for us. If it wasn't for Bruce, I could go family by family by family. None of them would have been where they are today.
We were in school together. But more importantly, our relationship continued even after the school days. He was a loving man. He was a giving man. He cared for others.
Bruce died early this month while undergoing treatment at Nairobi Hospital after he suffered a massive heart attack. Bruce, who was an accomplished music producer and owner of Johari Clef Music Production Company, had been unwell since October when he went to India for treatment. The late Bruce Odhiambo was the fourth chairperson of the Youth Enterprise Development Fund since its inception in 2006. Bruce resigned from the helm of the fund after the 2016 Youth Fund scandal. Vincent Odur, NTV.
A great legend there finally rests. Now, the government says that private security guards could be armed as soon as this year. The Private Security Regulatory Authority CEO Fazul Mohammed announced this, noting that only trained and licensed guards will handle guns. This decision has been met with divergent views among Kenyans when NTV posed the question, should private security guards be armed?
Wapatiwe bunduki kama jirani yetu Uganda, si wako na bunduki. Owezi benda pesa, wewe uko na rungu na mtu mwingine anakuja na bunduki.
Mimi ningependelea sana kusupport our private security guards waweza kupewa bunduki. Sio kuwapea bunduki tu peke yake, hata kwa mfuko. Kwa sababu mfuko yako pia ikiwa sawa sawa, kazi yako utaifanya vizuri.
I think it's dangerous. I'm against it. Say insecurity with people like us, the local man like me. People will be under fear.
Naomba hizo bunduki tupewe. Na tunapopewa hizo bunduki, hata kama tutaenda mafundisho ya kutumia hiyo silaha, hizi mishahara pia nazo sirekebishwe. Mishahara ni duni sana.
Hiyo mswada mimi nilikuwa naona serikali imefanya vizuri, ndio hata nao ukiwa kazini wao jisikia at least wako kazini na wako na security enough. Hiyo kazi hata mimi mwenyewe nilikuwa nikifanyia hiyo kazi. Lakini kulingana vile niliona vile inavyoenda vile watu wanauawa, vile maskari wanauawa, ilibidi niache nitafute biashara nyingine kwa sababu unajua ukiona maisha yako hatarini mpaka uchifanye nini uchiokoe.
I don't think it's good because maybe they don't have sufficient training, so they can misuse the firearms.
Kufight terrorism na rungu ni ngumu. Kama ile mambo ambayo ilifanyika juzi katika Nairobi, kama walinzi wangekuwa na silaha au wakora hawangepenya, wangepambana nao ulivyo.
That's a conversation that will be ongoing even as that rule is being reviewed. We take off our short break on NTV Weekend Edition. A lot more coming your way. Stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. Tuk Tuk operators in Riverside, Nairobi County blocked roads early today in protest against claims of extrajudicial killing of a colleague. The drivers claimed the victim was shot dead by police officers who accused him of breaking into churches in Riverside. Angry residents joined the drivers in barricading the road with burning tires and parking their tuk-tuks along the Satellite Kaberia Road. They are demanding a proper investigation into those allegations. And still on security matters, police in Tuapa have confiscated bundles of fake money. Kilifi police boss Frederick Ocheng said the money was found stashed in a house in Shanzu. The fake currency was in denominations of 1,000 shilling notes and were packed in bundles of 500,000 shillings to a total of 6 million shillings. The manhunt for the suspect is underway, and elsewhere in Tuapa, police nabbed a bag worth over 300,000 shillings in Mutomondoni area. Now, 2 suspects are in custody, and police say that they will be arraigned once investigations are complete.
I would like to advise members of the public, particularly those within Mutwapa here, to know that with the discovery of this fake currency, we honestly believe that there is circulation of fake currency. So people should be watchful.
To education now, a 15-year-old girl who had to walk 15 kilometers in search of fees to start her secondary school education can finally report on Monday. Juliana Koshi, who scored 358 marks in KCSE, caught the attention of former Bunyore girls students who have offered to pay her fees for the year.
After receiving her primary school final exam results and a place in high school, Juliana Koshi's next and biggest challenge was to raise her school fees. To do this, the teenager had planned to walk from Hola to Nairobi. 15 minutes into her quest, her story was published in the Daily Nation.
Tunapenda Bunyore girls sana sababu wengine wetu hatungekuwa hapa kama hatungepitia hiyo shule. So tukaona mmoja wetu ametoka huko mbali, ni lazima tushikane mkono na yeye tuone kwamba anaenda shule.
After completing her primary school, she worked as a house help and managed to save 4,000 shillings.
Kumaliza KCPE niliambiwa kuwa hata ukifanya vizuri hakuna pesa za kupeleka shule. Kwa hivyo nilifanya juhudi yangu, nikatafuta kazi, nikapata mali, nikawa house girl.
She raised another 6,000 shillings from her fundraising work.
Tangu ilikuwa niliona haitaendelea mbele. Ndio sasa niliona sasa itaendelea mbele kupata hizo sponsors.
Msana amepewa msaada kutoka kwa county kupitia kwa women rep ambao tuliongea naye, na sisi wasichana pia tumechanga pesa kadhaa. Kwa hivyo ofisi yake ya mwaka huu tayari tumemaliza.
The young girl hopes to someday become a doctor and change the lives of the people in her village. But her next step for now is to report to school on Monday without a worry about school fees this year. Halima Gongo, NTV, Nairobi.
Bless the ladies who have given light to Juliana's Koshi's dream, and she scored 358 marks in her KCPE. Another short break on NTV Weekend Edition. We'll be back. To some politics now. The Deputy President William Ruto has promised leaders from the Mau region that the government is working towards resolving the natural resource-based conflict. This comes as leaders from Narok County called on the government to bring together all the leaders from the region to conserve the endangered forest.
Kama mumesema tuite viongozi wote wale ambao wanahusika, jamii ya Kipsigis, jamii ya Wamasai, vile wale viongozi ya inji, tusungumzie hii mambo tuweze kumaliza bila shida yote. Mambo ya kukuja hapa upigiwe makofi na inaishia hapo sio nzuri.
If we do not preserve it, then even that argument ya kwamba ati we are bequeathing this world to the future generation itakuwa useless.
Unasaje kudanganya mtu kwamba pale ambaye haijawahi kutangwa kuwa mashamba ati utakuwa na shamba hapo? How? It's not possible. It is legally not possible.
Kama serikali, sisi tunaelewa vilivyo umuhimu wa mambo ya Mau, umuhimu ya water towers katika taifa letu la Kenya sehemu zote, na tuko na mpango ya kutosha kuhakikisha ya kwamba tatizo hilo tunatatua.
Now, Jubilee Party will now field a candidate or candidates in the upcoming by-elections in Ugenya and Embakasi South constituencies. Jubilee Party Secretary General Raphael Tuju, through a statement, says the party decided not to take part in the two by-elections in the spirit of furthering the steps of constructive engagements with the other main parties in the contest. The party leadership insists that the decision is in the best interest of various initiatives that are geared towards reducing political tension in the country. The two parliamentary seats fell vacant after Supreme Court nullified the August 8, 2017 election of Ugenya MP Christopher Karan and Embakasi South MP Julius Mawathe on grounds that they were not validly elected. The by-elections for the two constituencies will be held on the 5th of April. Further afield, at least 66 people have died and 85 more are missing after an illegal pipeline tap exploded in central Mexico. Meanwhile, Zimbabwe's opposition leader Nelson Chamisa attended the funeral. Thank you for staying with us. Once a senior bank manager, Teresa Njoroge was wrongfully accused of theft, which landed her a 1-year sentence. She served that sentence with her 3-month-old daughter. Teresa was released after 8 months after a successful appeal cleared her of any wrongdoing. Now, she was compensated for the wrongful imprisonment too, and today Teresa is a CEO and co-founder of Clean Start, through which she gives women behind bars a second chance. She shared her story with me on this week's Women in Power.
My name is Fatia, daughter of Jasho, wife of Kamweru. I used to be a banker for many, many years, like 25 years. Then some people stole some money, and I was involved by way of holding the keys only. So when we came back after Easter period, we found all the money was gone. So I was locked in at Langata Women Prison for 4 years. But after remission, I was released by President's pardon. It takes a toll on your mentality, on your physical being, and most of all your friends. It robs you of your friends. And it takes a while for you to reintegrate back to the society. I'm still looking for me up to today, despite being out for almost 6 years, going to my 7th. I don't know who I am.
My name is Teresa Njoroge. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Clean Start. Clean Start is a social enterprise that works to empower and inspire women and girls coming from correctional institutions here in Kenya. We work with the Kenya Prison Service as partners. We work with the Department of Children's Service and probation and aftercare. We go into these institutions, we empower these girls, we empower these women. We take them through our core program, which is called the SPEAR program. Upon release from prison, we then connect those dots and build a bridge, so to speak, for them post-imprisonment to rebuild their lives. Some of them go back into education, others start businesses, and others we try and get them apprenticeships or internships. Some of these women and some of these girls are in prison with their children, and most of them have left their children on the outside, unattended. So we have a department at Clean Start that looks into the affairs and well-being of the children. I set up Clean Start after a very traumatic experience. I had been imprisoned for a year at Langata Women Maximum Prison, and I served my 1-year sentence accompanied by my 3-month-old firstborn daughter. And this experience was very traumatizing. Approximately about 70% of the women who are in there were either there due to the same case like I, miscarriage of justice, lack of legal representation, on short sentences of, she was loitering and clearly, or hawking. She was trying to make ends meet, and seeing these women come in and out of prison over and over again, I said to myself, as I fight, to get my justice, let me fight with the other women as well. Fatia started by making mandazis from a bank manager, a senior bank employee, struggling to get her family back in shape and in order, affected health-wise because of the trauma that experience was. But you know what? She's been resilient enough to keep going, start with one of these stalls, and now she has 3.
Embrace us, reintegrate us, don't stigmatize us.
Everyone deserves a second chance. Well, Women in Power on every Saturday on NTV Weekend Edition. Another short break. Ida Waringa is in studio with the latest from the sporting world.